Hello, hello. Greetings to you all. В ім'я Отця і Сина і Святого Духа. I'm a little late on this, but let's talk about the Paris Olympics. So I have no plan for this video, just going off the top of the dome. No notes, nothing. Let me know if you guys like these style videos. I can put more out. Just thoughts off the top of my mind. So as everybody knows by now, the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, which occurred, I don't know, maybe a week ago or something. Just absolute disgusting blasphemy. And I've seen different, Christian influencers, whatever you want to call them, give different takes on this within the Orthodox community and outside the Orthodox community. And some good takes, some I would consider bad takes. But I just kind of give my thoughts on it. One, I just want to point out and just underline that as Christians, and I've talked about this in the past, and those that have been following me for some time know this. We as Christians, we are not pacifists, guys. We're not pacifists. I've talked about the difference between deontological ethics and virtue ethics. We as Christians, we abide by virtue ethics, meaning, of the heart, in a sense, right? Ethics of the heart, not deontological ethics as in, if an action is wrong and it's just always wrong. Physical retaliation is wrong. Jesus said, turn the other cheek, and we must always turn the other cheek, and we must never retaliate, even if somebody breaks into your house and they're trying to kill your family. You better get on your knees and just start praying, bro. And if the Lord doesn't show up and save you, then that's the Lord's will. Right? This kind of, silly mindset. That is not what the early church believed, although you do find a lot of pacifism among some early church fathers and things like that. But overall, that's not what the church, believed as a whole throughout history, right? And also, the retaliation wars, the wars waged in the Old Testament just wouldn't make any sense. Right? Like we're not Gnostics, right? We don't think, right, the God of the Old Testament was this different, this sort of, mean God, and then Jesus came in the New Testament and things kind of softened up, and he became just very nice, right? That's kind of, that's literally Gnosticism, right? They rejected the God of the Old Testament and they accepted, right, Christ of the New Testament, the good God, quote unquote, as they thought. So, right, it wouldn't make any sense. Yes, right, Christ teaches for us to love our enemies. And we shouldn't, right, go out and retaliate in a sense, right, how Muslims do it, right? They just go out and just blow stuff up and right, and just kill bystanders, civilians, just take lives. But we also, as Christians, we don't stand idle, right? Because, right, we are to love our enemies, but those people up there, right, during that opening ceremony, right, mocking that famous Da Vinci painting of the Last Supper, or just disgusting mockery, right? They're not my enemies, dude. I don't know who they are, dude. They're just some people, dude. They're not any of my personal enemies, dude, that I should love them. These people are God's enemies. They're the enemies of God. And we read that whatever God hates, we are to hate. And God hates sin. And here's the thing, when we read the Old Testament, God doesn't only hate sin. There are passages that point to God hating sinners, like people, specific people. And there should be some sort of proper, right, in these circumstances, some sort of proper physical retaliation. Ooh, It sounds like, oh, what? We're not Muslims, no. No, if I was there, I don't know, wherever it took place, I would have ran on stage and it would have been like, right, like Christ in the temple. I mean, these people in the temple were just selling. They weren't even, right, doing any sort of blasphemy per se. They were just doing something inappropriate in a place of worship. And Christ ran in, right, with righteous anger, and he flipping tables over and, right, kicking these people out. That's something that I would have done if I was there. And that's something that Christians should have done. Real Christians that live in France, live in Paris, should have gone out and protested and blocked up that entire area. They should have done something. Right? We're not, and I see this sort of weird take from a lot of evangelicals. They have this very Gnostic mindset. It's kind of hilarious. Right? The Gnostics consider this physical body as pretty much like sort of, evil, vile, carnal, useless. Their whole point was just to get to the spiritual realm. And that's what I see the take from a lot of quote unquote Christians. It's usually a lot of people in the evangelical community. They think, oh, they can mock, they can do what they want. We will be persecuted, this and that. Sure, we will be. But they're like, oh, we are not of this world. We're looking forward to the next world. Like kind of this disregard for doing anything in this life. Like that doesn't make any sense at all, right? Why would Christ, why would the apostles, why would God give instructions if this world is meaningless? Why would he give instructions to behave a certain way as a Christian within this realm on earth? Right? It doesn't make any sense. They have this sort of very just literally Gnosticism, like this Gnostic mindset, or the Cathars, which was a later heresy, which was basically just kind of it branched off of, they were basically Gnostics, and the Catholics were dealing with them. The Orthodox did not deal with them. But also, all the retaliations against Muslims that were trying to invade Europe, right? By the Georgians, by the Franks, by the Byzantines. It wouldn't make any sense if we're just these pacifists that do absolutely nothing. Like this is disgusting blasphemy against our Lord. I had this quote on my Instagram, or actually it was this thought. It wasn't like a quote I borrowed from anyone. It was just this thought that I posted about a year ago, something I was thinking about. It was something along the lines of like, if you love the Lord and you see his name being, right, slandered, denigrated, it should offend you, and it should, right, spark up this righteous anger within you to do something about it. Right? You don't sit idle. And I kind of compared it in the same way that a brother, right, a sister, a mother is being, right, insulted right before you, and you do nothing about it. Like, no, that's not it, right? We're not pacifists as Christians in the sense of like, right, we don't have this sort of, a fundamentalist evangelical reading of the scriptures of like, this is what God says and that's what it means. No, like everything has this meaning, and it's interpreted throughout church history, throughout biblical history in general, and by the early fathers. And we don't see, right, this just absolute pacifism. We don't see it, right? There's certain regions we do see it in, right? When I interact with a lot of Coptic Christians, they tend to have a very pacifist kind of mindset approach. I don't know if this is just kind of the Coptics that I interact with, or this is just the Coptic community in general has been this way, because they've been persecuted by Muslims, right, in Egypt forever, dude. They've suffered for a long time. But we as Christians are to do something about it. This is a direct attack on God. This is blasphemy. These are enemies of the Lord, committing absolute disgusting blasphemy right before us. And then, in some sense, all these Muslims tweeting, Christians, you don't do anything, you're weak, this and that. In some sense, they're right. What has happened to Christianity in the West? I'm talking about in the West. because this would not have gone down in the East. If something like this happened in the East, whether it's, Christian Middle East, right? Like it happened somewhere in Lebanon or something, or Eastern Europe, nah, dude, or Georgia, right? Somewhere, anywhere in the East, this would not fly, dude. I mean, they wouldn't even think of doing this. All right, but they're in this weak, you know, the West, this Paris, which is just overrun by Muslims and just overrun by just immigrants in general. I mean, last time I went to Paris, dude, I was shocked. I was in Paris, dude. I was shocked. It is just no Parisians, just nothing but immigrants, dude. Immigrants. Right? And I'm not some sort of, xenophobe or something, but bro, what happened to Europe, dude? What happened to Europe? Now, the whole immigration and politics and policy, blah, 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 that's not my thing. That's a whole other conversation. I don't particularly care about it. But I'm just talking about in the sense of like how the West has really just declined and just become so weak and just bought into this woke, demonic, just this disgusting right ideology. And we as Christians, if there are any true Christians left in the West, we're not just to get online and just complain. Like I'm telling you, if there are Christians present there in Paris physically, do something about it. We as Christians are not pacifists, dude. Otherwise, the entire Old Testament doesn't make any sense. We see a ton of wars, God using the Israelites, the Hebrews, to wage war on his enemies. And then clearly we see God in some sense guide the church, throughout church history, using the Roman Empire and then the Byzantines, were really just Romans, right, to fight back other enemies of God, right, like the Muslims, right? I wholeheartedly believe that God used these nations to destroy his enemies, or to not allow his enemies, right, to move in and take over Europe, like the Muslims were trying to, the caliphate was trying to do during those times, whether it was the Georgians fighting them back, the Byzantines, or Charlemagne the Great and the Franks not letting them go through Spain and enter Western Europe. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. This is just kind of a yap fest off the top of my head. No notes, nothing, guys. Just yapping. Let me know if you guys like these style videos. The camera is kind of close. It feels a little intimate. Like you guys can see and feel everything I'm feeling. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. If you like the content, like, share, comment, subscribe for more, and follow my social medias in the description below. I'll see you guys next time, and may the grace of our Lord Jesus be with you.